They are 100% natural phenomena, but when ingested by animals, they have a wide range of negative effects, such as impaired reproduction, digestive disorders, and reduced performance. In this episode of Feed Talks, we zoom in on mycotoxins, and we are doing so together with our partner dsm-firmenich. I am joined by DSM's Sabine Masching and Michail Evgeniou, who will share knowledge from the firm's decades-long experience surveying mycotoxins. Over the years, the dsm-firmenich World Mycotoxin Survey highlighted a sharp rise in mycotoxin contaminations, and more interestingly, it uncovered the rise from a single to multi-mycotoxin combination and also exposed challenges in regional risk patterns. Today, Sabine and Michail will share their thoughts on moving from signaling contamination to forecasting future risks and trends in mycotoxin risk management. So welcome Sabine and Michail in this edition of Feed Talks. So welcome Sabine and Michail to this edition of Feed Talks. As I know, dsm-firmenich is monitoring mycotoxins for years now. Can you explain shortly what this program is about, Sabine?
The Mycotoxin Survey has been conducted for now over 20 years. So it provides really one of the largest global data sets when it comes to mycotoxin contamination. It's a program that is running across regions and across different matrices. So from single feed components to finished feed to TMR, so more complex feed that is going into our animals. So this is really a huge data set we have in our hands and the basis for a lot of research and a lot of innovation.
Mhm. So an immense data set. But when it comes to mycotoxin management, I heard there's some changes and weather is changing. Is it still business as usual, or are we entering a new era of challenges and also complexity?
Definitely. So, business as usual in context with mycotoxins is maybe a little bit misleading because you always have to expect the unexpected. And recently, there is really a game changer on the horizon. Because for the first time ever in Austrian corn, aflatoxin B1 was detected by some researchers from a big university here in Austria, where we are collaborating with. And this is really something. I mean, there were predictive models already calculating. Okay, if the temperature increases due to the climate change, it will most likely be possible that we see a shift in the toxic patterns and move fungi moving from the south to the north. But what we see now, definitely with these findings, is that science becomes a fact. So it's not theory anymore. We have the risk here with us, and aflatoxin B1 is one of the most potent naturally occurring toxins we have. It's not only of concern for the animals, but also big concern for the humans, because there's a carryover of this toxin into edible products from animals, for example, milk.
So that's quite worrying indeed. Did you see that coming more or less?
More or less, yes, because there is also a lot of science done and a lot of research and investigations done in what the potential outcome of this climate change and this increasing average temperatures will be. So more or less, we saw it coming, but as I already mentioned, it's here, and it's really something we have to keep a close eye on and even do more investigation and risk evaluation. So this is something that is really of concern. Yeah. So as I already told you, theory coming into practice. So for the first time, this is always a little bit threatening and
Yeah.
concerning. But we know that we have experts at our hands, and we also have excellent tools and services in our hands to really get the risk under control.
Yeah, and how is dsm-firmenich animal nutrition and health translating these risks into like actionable solutions for the customers?
Yeah, this is basically our playground. I would say our area of expertise. So taking this science-based and data-driven research work into something that is easy understandable and applicable out there in the field. So from the theory into practice. So something that you can really hold in your hands and make it also easy understandable and offer tailor-made solutions for the customers. which is the most important thing at the end of the day. We have our analytical services. We have our product, which is the state of the art and most advanced product when it comes to mycotoxin risk management. We also have a lot of consultations, so analyzing and having some results in our hands, but what should you do with that? So you need it to transport it to the customer and translate it to the customer to make it understandable, and then also find a solution how to get the risk more or less under control.
And of course, like traditional mycotoxin management has been largely reactive. And now I heard about the new SciTell Mycotoxin Prediction Tool from dsm-firmenich. Um, how does that model or prediction tool, how does that enable the shift forward towards truly predictive risk management?
Yeah, there is the thing that we are now in the era of the data. Everything has to do with data, and we have a lot. And as Sabine said before, except the part that we have one of the biggest, if not the biggest, data set of mycotoxin-related information worldwide, we also possess that amount of expertise and information in order to do something with those data. So the whole idea is that you are using the data, you are curating the data, and you harmonize them in order to be able to extract information from this. And through the state-of-the-art type modelings that we are using, it gives us the chance to be able to create predictions, but the most significant part of those type of predictions based on the data for the mycotoxins is the trustworthiness of those predictions, because a number, as we say in math, just a number of how accurate is that prediction you make, it could be as good as any other number. But the fact that we combine our amount of data with technical expertise, but also expertise about on the product and on the mycotoxin field as we do, it gives another level of specificity in our prediction. So we can say with very big credibility that we are having trustworthy information. We're giving trustworthy information about what is happening on the predictive landscape in the mycotoxins.
And to the users, how does the prediction tool go beyond describing like past contaminations to really forecasting future risks?
The whole idea is what we are doing every time. We're having information, we're collecting information, we're interpreting that information, and we make decisions. And this is a circle that keeps going either for our side, the scientist side, or from the side of the producers, from the people that receives that information. So it's always the circles of gather, interpret, decide, gather, interpret, decide. And now, by producing more information before actually that happens, because that's the whole point about the contaminations, which you will able to identify if you have mycotoxin in your sample just after the mycotoxin exists in your sample. But now we are able to focus before the contamination happened, before the thing appeared, to be able to have a first insight and tells, there is a good chance, there is a high probability, there is a high risk in that specific area, in that specific regions, and we can, as I said before, truthfully say that the risk is higher there. You should act, and this is the part of the decision. So people have the chance to act faster, and plan according the needs that have based on the weather, based on the region, based on every one of those needs that they need to be strategically curated, if you want, in order to have a better result and a more optimal result towards their products and their harvests.
And how do you see identifying hotspots uh, translate into more proactive decision making for feed producers?
The whole idea about a hotspot is that it's a very complicated on its own domain, because a hotspot has been defined not only because it's an artifact of the specific location, but it has to do with, for example, the weather, it has to do with the soil, it has to do also with the time that you are counting. And this is what is significant from our side. By having predictions on every time point before a specific harvest, before your harvest, before the point that you want to know how is the risk, you can identify not only hotspots but also cold spots, if we want to go from the other side, that in a period, in a place that usually, normally, in a certain amount, you have high risk, You can also identify low risk. What does that mean also? It means that you are able to have more information, more detailed information about what do you have. So a hotspot, it can be dynamically created, so it can change through the time, but through the information we can provide, you can also identify specific better periods or worse periods and plan accordingly as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really clear. Sabine, you talked about like the unpredictability of mycotoxins at the start of this feed talk. If the mycotoxin risks are indeed becoming more unpredictable, uh, how does the future of risk management um, would evolve?
It clearly gives us this new development. Is SciTell Mycotoxin Prediction Tool is a new player in mycotoxin risk management. So advancing even more. So the basis is analytics, analysis of feed, which gives us the possibility to understand the risk. So what are we actually dealing with? Then the survey, which we have already for more than 20 years, which will continue, which helps us to monitor global and regional trends in mycotoxin contamination and mycotoxin occurrence. And now we have a third pillar, this mycotoxin prediction tool, which helps us to stay a little bit ahead of the risk. So we are now touching the topic from three different angles, and all in all, we really hold something very advanced in our hands, which can then also easily transport it to the customer.
So thank you very much, Sabine and Michail, for your contribution to this edition of Feed Talks. We learned that effective mycotoxin risk management should include frequent testing as a basis. That said, with evolving risks posing a threat to animal welfare, production and sustainability, proactive risk management is more important than ever to maintain the profitability of both the feed industry and the animal protein production sector. If you want to learn more on mycotoxins and mycotoxin risk management, follow All About Feed and dsm-firmenich on their socials and website. Thank you for watching Feed Talks, and until next time.